Well, I got my ribs installed and glued in, and those holes, which I decided to go with 5/8, and those lightning holes, I go halfway across, and it reduced the weight between all of them. They all added up to 11 ounces, 11.9 ounces, and lightning holes brought it down to 10.8, so that's about 10% reduction. I wanted a little bit more than that, so we'll see what I can do. But I did, since they all started on the square end of the beans except this one, the angled end, and here's the other ones, the holes started over here. Well, I did the holes on the wrong end on this one, so I'm just going to cap them with some of this strip that came off the edge of the saw, and that'll be good enough. And there they are, all clamped up. Now let's go outside and I'll show you the work's going to begin. And the first thing we got to do is place this insert. I don't think I've cut it up that high, so well, maybe I did. There we go. So now we're gonna start cutting 1/4-inch squares, and then we're gonna start cutting 1/8-inch geodetic. That is very precise, real close to 1/8 inch. Well, it's real close to the same width of the slot that this cuts. And mine does cut almost exactly 1/8 of an inch. It's a nice sharp saw blade still. So we'll zero my calipers at 1/8 of an inch. There we go, 125. That's the size of the saw blade. And then we're going to go to 1/4 inch. Let's lower this down a bit. And so we set this at 1/4 of an inch from that 0 point, and that'll right about there. And you want to get the right tooth because the teeth go from side to side. So right there. But I won't necessarily trust that. Yep. Zero these and measure that. It says 256. We should narrower. Yeah, I'll run one all the way through, and that'll be close enough that I can either leave it there or adjust it and won't waste the piece. And then for these, for cutting the 1/4 inch, we'll just use, well, I don't even need anything for that. Get this out of here, because we're going to be cutting boards. Let's see. Now we got to figure out, make sure I'm not using something I wanted to use for something else. So before you change the width of the blade, just lower the blade. And now you can, well, we could actually stack these up. So we would put it back up. They're bent, so make sure you get them all laid in the same way. There you go. But these are strong enough, they'll keep it flat against there. So you just crank it up as, yeah, let's just go, let's do, there's 5, so let's do 2, 3, and then 2. Don't want to go higher than what the feathering boards let you go. And then these here will use for geodetic, the 1/8 strips, because the 1/8 strips, they're every length from just a couple inches long to probably 12 inches long for the ribs, wing ribs. Well, I got 9 strips out of it, so quarter by quarter. So these, with what I have inside, those long ones I did the other day, I've got enough for probably, this is 4.5 ribs, so probably a good 10 ribs at least, I'm sure. And so now I'm going to cut geodetic. Now before I start cutting geodetic for ribs and stuff, that is, I always get a rib cap and have it here for a gauge. Make sure, I want it to be, it doesn't have to be exactly snug, but I don't want it loose. I don't want it any wiggle in there, and I don't want it too tight that it's going to squeeze all the glue out either. Well, it won't go in the slot, so I measured it, and it's about 5 thousandths bigger than an 1/8 inch. And of course, it's possible that my blade might be starting to wear and cutting a little narrower. In other words, the fibers don't cut off real clean, so they spring back in. So let's try to just eyeball 10 thousandths or less. Now this one, I'll just try to measure. See if I can measure the difference there. That's -8, well, minus from the 1/8 inch. So I've been ripping geodetic for about an hour now. And now I'm cutting the rib slots. Always look for the grain direction there too. You want to be cutting right like this. And notice how I've got it set up. This is pushing right down over top the blade, and this one is holding it in against the blade. Just like that. Pushes through pretty hard because you're got some feather boards fairly tight, 2 of them. I already did one and measured it, but I want to double check. $114 thousandths. That's close enough to an 1/8 inch. That's good. Now I'm going to try some of my geodetic on this one too. Make sure it's going to go in the slot but snug. Oh my gosh, yeah. These are almost perfect. I mean, they go in fairly easy, but snug. Nice. Okay.